right, welcome back. We've almost finished preparing our mailer, but there's one more important step, and it's pricing your data, okay? So there's a few different schools of thoughts here, right? And let's do a quick recap. What have we done, right? We've chose our area, we've set our search criteria, we've pulled our data. Now we have this big Excel file of just a bunch of data, people's addresses, all sorts of stuff. What do we do now, right? Well, here in the next video, we're gonna actually talk about how to send the mail. But first, I wanna talk about the strategies we use within our mailer to elicit calls, to get people to call us back, okay? And there's a few different strategies that people use. The three that I can think of are a blind offer. So that means that you just put the offer directly on the letter. You say, I'm offering 1,100 when you know it's worth 3,000 or whatever it is, right? There's a different approach that some people take is where they don't put any offer on it. They put call for offer, call me back for an offer, right? There's benefits to both. The blind offer requires more work up front because you actually got to go through and make sure your prices make sense for all the properties. Oftentimes they don't. And so you'll get a lot of people that'll call you back angry. Why did you offer me this much? You can't pay that, right? But blind offers do work. Really what I found is putting a number, putting a price on your offer, on your letter really works well, okay? The call for offer, or they call it a neutral letter, what you're really gonna see with that is you're gonna get a lot higher volume of calls because you haven't pre-qualified people by telling them your price, right? So that's one of the mechanisms of the pricing structure and why we put prices on our letters is to just pre-qualify and get anybody who wants more than we can pay out. Just don't call me back, right? This is where you'll get all the fun letters back like, go pound sand, you MF-er, this, that. We've gotten some real fun ones. We've had people take the time to just rip up our letter, put it in another envelope, write us a nasty letter, and then mail it back to us. Like we've had a lot of stuff. But so those are the two mainstream ways. Let's talk about the Clint way, all right? I have found over my time, 5-6 years of doing this, that a hybrid of both of those approaches works best. And I call this the range offer. All right. I truly believe the range offer is the best type of offer, the best type of letter to send, because it pre-qualifies people who will sell their land for cheap, but it gets rid of people who want more than we can offer. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over to our spreadsheet here, and I'm going to show you kind of what I mean by putting our offer, right? Once you decide what your offer is, you need to go over into your spreadsheet and you need to put it in there so that it gets on all the letters. So I'm going to jump over to my screen, share it with you, and show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so over here in our spreadsheet, continuing with the Apache County example, this is a list that we actually sent on, what is that, April 14th, 2021. So this was a true mailer we sent, we did some deals from. And you can see this is the spreadsheet, and if you print out the example that we have, this is the template spreadsheet that DataTree kicks out to you, okay? Now, on the DataTree template, it'll say blank column, right? It'll say that there's a blank column. So what you gotta do is you gotta come over here, and you gotta change that blank column, you see here on my screen, to the offer, all right? I just changed the name, it says blank, I change it over to offer, all right? And so this is where you're gonna put what the offer price is. Now, you're gonna see I have a bunch of different things in here. I have call for offers, I have different price ranges. This is a little more advanced strategy, and I definitely wouldn't recommend it for the newer investor or someone who's doing their first mailer. I would just recommend on choosing one and going with it, okay? In our mastermind, we go through a much more in-depth process where we use a lot more mapping tools to put our stuff together, but really if you're just getting started, you don't need to do that, okay? It's honestly would be more of a waste of your time than help. But I want you to see here, we utilize all the different types of offers. If you see on my screen, we use call for offers or neutral letters, and we use range offers, which I think are the best. We use them throughout our letters. And so again, in our mastermind, we go through a little more in depth how we like figure out which ones we should send call for offer or which ones we should send acreage prices to. But for the simplicity of this example, I'm gonna delete this, okay? And you're gonna open this up. All right, and you're gonna, basically, your job is to come in here and add your price. So through the course of going through this, you need to understand for the area that you chose on DataTree, what is the pricing, right? That's kind of the whole point of this thing is you gotta know the pricing of the area you go to, right? So when you choose an area on DataTree and you know the properties are worth $500 an acre, right? Like the example we just walked through, the properties are worth $500 an acre. What can you offer? right? Well, what we can offer is generally about 30 to 50% of that. And I would even recommend testing different ranges. I would say 20 to 40% is a great place to start, and then move it up to 30 to 50 if you don't get responses. 35 to 55 is generally where I would leave that range, right? So jumping back over to my computer here, let's just go into a new tab here. If it's 500 an acre, 25% of that is 125. Okay, and 45% of that is 225, right? So what you can do, and what I suggest, is you literally just put it in like our team has it here. $, price to price per acre. Exactly what shows up in this cell is what's going to show up on the letter, okay? So exactly what shows up in this cell is what will show up on the letter, that specific letter that goes to that owner. So if you want it to be, you're confident in the price, you send them that. If you're not confident in the price, you send them a call for offer. That's your simple lesson, okay? So back to my screen over here, I'm gonna delete all this and just go in and show you really how you do that. So let's say we said 125 to 250 was, I think, what I just put up there, or something similar. We would come up here, and again, make sure it looks good. We're gonna say 125 to 250 per acre. Okay, and then in Excel Online, whatever, you can generally just double click that and it'll go all the way down. If that doesn't work, you can drag it and it'll go down as well. So now what you've done is you've added for that area all the prices, right? So for all these different people, on their letter, it's gonna show up as 125 to 250 an acre. And I really recommend when you get started here, you choose smaller areas where you can really hone in on the price. My team does a lot of data research, and I wouldn't recommend it for the average person, especially somebody starting. And that's why we have different offers. We have call for offers, we have ranged offers. But for somebody starting, like, that's too much, really. I suggest you circle a smaller area in data tree, export less data, so that you know, hey, this little pocket of data, this little pocket of properties I've exported, I'm very confident that they're in this price range, so I'm gonna send this offer range. Now, what I like about the offer range, and we'll talk about this in the Talking to Sellers module, what I really love about this offer range is that maybe the offer you would have sent at 35% wouldn't work, but a one at 50% would. Right? Now, anybody who wants 80, 90, 100% for their property, they're going to be insulted by this. Welcome to land investing, okay? But for anybody else who's interested, they say, well, all these people are sending me these low offers at 125 an acre, but these guys will pay up to 250. Let me see. And that's going to get the conversation going, and it's going to go, and then it's going to bring more leads and more deals into your intake workflow, like we talked about in a previous video. So that's pretty simple. That's how you price your data, okay? You take the price you've determined and you put it in your spreadsheet. The pricing you choose is 30 to 50% for easy terms, 25 to 45, whatever you want, of whatever you determine market value is, right? So if you determine market value is $500 an acre, right, you're gonna send an offer for 30 to 50% of that. I like range offers. That's my favorite way to do it. Other people use different ones, but if you're just getting started, I would suggest using range offers. It'll get more leads, more calls, which in my opinion always leads to more deals. So hope this helps. In the next video, I will talk about how do we actually get this dang spreadsheet out the door to the mail house. We'll see you there.